Well, is Lestrade right? This case does seem resolved.
There
No,
is
it
but
doesn't.
one
Doth
piece missing
seem
that I need
resolved.
to complete this puzzle. No, it's not very important from the criminal point of view, but from the economic aspects of this case, it is essential. Regarding the question of whether Lestrade is correct, I will give you 2 items that should provide the answer that you seek. The first is a table representing the shoe sizes of the main characters in this case. Examine it carefully, Watson.
Lay on the table, you
Oh
ordered.
no, it's
A parcel for you, Mr. Holmes.
Parcel for you, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, this would be Mycroft. Here is the final piece, which completes our puzzle, Watson.
Would this be the second element?
No,
What
it's a child.
second element?
You have just said that in order to determine if Lestrade is correct, I would need to consider 2 items. You told me about the shoe sizes, and I ask if this news article is the second clue.
Oh, no account. The second clue is a question. A very simple question. The answer will take the grass under the feet of several English citizens. For if they cannot even guess the answer to this question, they are for the gallows. The question is as follows. Watson, do you think that Horace Fowler
that's it.
What?
Just-
with a cushion? It seems to me that we
Watson?
have gathered all of the key elements, Watson. However, before we retire, let's summarize our findings. The question should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony
Oh, boy.
received
Get
during
lost
the
in this one.
investigation.
No, we didn't. 1 sec, Katie. Oh, never mind. The Raptors won.
Oh.
The Raptors won, and that is the end of that series, so... Hooray!
Yay.
It's elementary itself. 4 questions.
The several sets of keys from Aston Theatre.
Yes. But they
Says
lost
small
one.
child?
Dwiggett.
Oh. Did one of the actresses lose the red wig?
Yes. She said that.
Jeez.
Could the discovery of the dressing room, in the dressing room, be connected to the case? Wait a minute. No.
Case clear.
Dressing. There are costumes register.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
And he's like in the message in the safe box and the letter in the ruin. Grimble.
Grabbles,
I was
Grabblestein.
just gonna say at the end you go like case closed.
Place closed. Could the writing on the message to Veronica Davenport be found elsewhere? No. There's 2
apparently
boxes.
Yes, because
There's 2 boxes. No.
closed.
Closed. Is this a desperate message?
I don't remember what's in any of these.
I beg you. Oh. Hey.
Why would you take that picture with the man's hand in front of his face?
Yeah, doesn't it take like a minute?
Yeah.
We need handwriting, huh? Probably this one. Look at that handwriting. It's definitely this. You can't convince me otherwise. Now we just go through and look for the nice handwriting.
Like, well, it's not Caladisia Abyss because your brother wrote that. It's
Oh,
you.
that's right. Oh my god. Oh my god. I better turn myself in immediately. What have I done? I don't know, Katie. This one, you're gonna have to give it to me. Richard's letter.
Oh, these are completely not the same as what there. There is a French visiting card.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's got to be by the beginning.
Wait a minute. Just in case.
No.
No, it's by the
I thought
beginning.
it said that's something of it.
French visit
French
card.
visiting card.
Okay.
And antique dealer business card. Item. Oh, there, antique dealer.
Of course. It's simplicity itself.
We must have made an...
No, probably
We
with
didn't
that first one.
finish.
No, we did. It was
Oh,
4
we did?
questions.
The question should be answered yes or no and justified
It's
by
probably
the
this first one.
evidence or testimony
Oh, yeah.
received during the investigation.
I thought he said that there was, like... There's 2 keys, but we lied about it, so we said 1. I'm French.
Yeah, it's gross.
Was it Bruce?
Yeah.
Bruce?
We must have made an error.
Fuck.
The question should be answered yes or no.
Shut up. Okay, Bruce and a yes. Or no, that's a no.
We must have made an...
Never mind. Oops.
It says the
The
first
question should be
conversation
answered yes or
with
no
Bruce asked
and
him.
justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
That is the first.
Bruce. And it's
Bruce.
yes.
It's a yes. Okay. That's what I had before.
Okay, so yes, and it says Miss Sullivan. You got your ladies mixed up. Sullivan's
Oh,
right
Doris
there.
was the one in the... Oh, alright, yeah.
We must have made an
Dang
error
it.
once. The question should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
So the first one is, it says yes for number 3. And
Oh, for 3,
it
yeah.
is Sherringford Hall. The discovery of a fake artillery uniform button in the... It's gotta be
Oh
by
my
the beginning, too.
god. Holy shit.
Yeah, there.
This
button
one?
right there. Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
The other one is dressing room. Evidence shows that one of the 30 costumes is missing.
It is simplicity
It's simplicity itself,
Watson.
Katie.
We have answered
Oh,
all the
right.
We did
Yeah.
it. No
Sure.
problem.
Oh, we're at
Right,
the end game.
Following questions are optional. You do not have to answer them correctly to reach the last step of the game.
This is how you found
Who
out.
killed Sir Bromsby?
Mr. Bromsby. Who do you think? Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Like,
We were all just like, yep, Harrington. Who
who
killed,
killed
Fowler?
Horace Fowler?
No. He just killed everybody. Oh no.
No, hold on.
It's
Doctor.
not on this page. The doctor.
Yeah, tell me if it's on the
Oh.
page and I'll see if I can.
No, not on this page. Not on this page. Not on this page. The small boy. No. Yes, on this page. It's not true.
Oh boy. Lamb?
Who the fuck is Lamb?
I
Oh, is
don't
it the
know.
old man in the back? No.
No, that's Pool. You know, good old
Who's
Pool.
Lamb?
Veronica Davenport.
No.
Oh. It was a lamb, you said?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not
Wyatt.
Lamb either. Yes.
That was just guessing. Alright, we already have
Who
the answer to
killed
that one.
Johannesson.
Nobody. It'd be really funny if it was nobody. Kirby. Hi.
Definitely was somebody. No, it's nobody on this page.
What about Gohan?
Oh, go on. Nobody on this page.
Satterthwaite. I don't remember any of these people.
This is at the beginning of the game when you were walking around the
Wow.
party.
Alright. None of these.
Nobody
It's
here.
gotta be. Then it's gotta be Lieutenant
No,
Harrington.
it's not him.
Oh.
I don't remember so many people being dead.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we've seen our share of bodies.
Not on this page.
Okay, so
You've already seen this one, so I think you gotta keep going down.
nobody.
Oh, shit. No. No. Oh. It says Jeffries on here. Who the fuck is Jeffries?
Gohan.
Let's not go on.
Who killed Veronica Davenport?
It's also Jeffries. We don't have Jeffries on here. Who the
Isn't
fuck is
Lamb?
Jeffries?
Is that who Jeffries is?
I don't know.
Jeffries Lamb. Who killed Jeffries?
I wish it would let you know. No, because why would... Actually, that's right.
Yeah.
Nobody killed Jeffries.
He's still on the prowl. Where's Wang Fu or whatever? They stupid. Was he?
Oh no. I thought you meant.
Was he at the
Harry.
party too?
He's not in the they were
No,
in
he's-
there for like a total of
for like 2
2
seconds.
and they were awful and
That it was
nobody
not needed.
No, it wasn't at all.
Oh, it's just the final movie?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the end.
All right, well then, just for the viewers, who killed Hunter?
That's it.
Lieutenant Harrington?
Yes.
Yeah. He's an
I
idiot.
just don't know where Jeffries is because it says Jeffries on this thing. Who the fuck is Jeffries?
Unless, like, there's a shorter name, Spencer Jeffries.
I don't know.
Can I look at my book?
Here, let me look up. Find Jeffries or Jeffrey. Oh. Oh. Jeffries was Spencer.
All right. So Veronica and Johansson.
Yeah.
We did it.
Damn. Yeah, because it listed on here, and it's like, I don't... There's a question at the end,
Cabby?
like, after the end of the fact.
Where would you like to go to on this fine day?
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I feel relieved that everything is settled.
I wasn't
The inspector told me
expecting
that you were not as useful as you had hoped in this case, but you did your best, and I am grateful to you.
Dear Lestrade. Well, the
Oh,
inspector deliberately minimized my role in this matter so that I could reveal a secret to you.
I wish Lieutenant Harrington could be here now, but
He had to leave
Was
for
he
London
murdered?
on a
What?
very
What?
urgent business.
Well,
how could you know?
It is my business to know, Miss Bromsby. Thus, I am
And
able
yours
to
to
tell
find
you
out.
about the case of the silver earring. Everything begins on that sad afternoon, which was to celebrate your birthday, and ended with the untimely death of your father. Miss Bromsby, you did not murder your father. I kissed your hand that day and did not detect even the slightest smell of gunpowder. I also discovered powder traces that proved the shot was fired from
I
behind
huffed
the
your
second side
fingertips
door.
and couldn't
You
smell
will not see
gunpowder.
that door. But where did the murderer go after taking his shot? Everyone who tried to exit through the side entrance found it blocked. According to witnesses and other evidence, none of the guests
I like
could
how
have
that
possibly
portrait
been
is
the
all
murderer
Mhm.
because they
He's
were all
listening to you.
present
Get on
in the
with it.
ballroom. No one left through the service door, and traces confirm that no one could have fled by using the staircase. The windows in the kitchen, as elsewhere in the manor, were appointed with thick bars, thus they offered no escape. So did he vanish into thin air? In fact, one of the parties did leave the ballroom and went to the kitchen corridor. He left to meet his accomplice, who was not an
You
invited
look so
guest.
surprised.
This accomplice was a professional actor who was disguised to resemble our missing invitee. This guest hid under voile in
what
the
happened to the
shadow of a
Frenchman?
statue and waited for his moment. Meanwhile, his twin acted out his part in the ballroom and provided the murderer with a perfect alibi. When the killer heard the applause, he left his hiding place, aimed, took his shot, and hit his target. It is important to know that the actor was well placed at the manor. He secured entry to the manor by impersonating a French head waiter. Using his position, he persuaded those in charge to use long tablecloths and to arrange the tables in a most
Tablecloths?
peculiar manner. When the
I
shooting
guess
occurred,
that's
our
true.
actor
They
joined
are
the crowd
closed for the
and rapidly
table.
crept across the
Mhm.
room, concealed
That's
under
true,
the
yeah.
tables. As he neared the side door, he rose
You
from
can't
beneath
leave
the
your
last
table
and
naked.
acted
Nope.
as if he had been jostled
Table
and
Chan.
fallen. However, as he
Oh my
stood,
God,
he
these
accidentally snagged a small
zoom-in
piece of his
faces.
dirty glove upon a chair.
Oh.
When he arrived at the door, which was held
I
closed
can
by the
barely
murderer,
see it.
he tapped on it using a prearranged code and was
Why
allowed
would you
entry.
do that
He
view?
exited to the corridor while his partner continued to hold the door shut against all others.
They
The
put
actor discarded his
all their
disguise in the
money
deep
in
kitchen
this
well,
cutscene.
helped himself to 2 bottles of excellent whiskey, and quietly went outside. The
Smells like
assassin
cheese.
waited
Baguette.
several minutes. Then, in the last seconds of the
Help me
confusion,
out.
he returned to the ballroom. Thus, we have the crime committed by an individual whom everyone swears was in the room when the shot was fired.
But this agrees with my conclusions. Richard is an actor, and everyone swears that Grimble was in the room. I didn't consider the course of events as you described, Holmes, but admit it, our deductions agree. Moreover, both of these suspects are similar in size and manner.
Your theory presumes that Grimble is an excellent shot, which is false. It also takes on faith that Sir Bromsby had
Idiot.
discovered the misappropriations, supplying Grimble his motive. But irrefutable proof that neither Grimble nor Richards were guilty waited at Horace Fowlett's, the matter of his pillow.
But there was no pillow at Horace Fowlett's.
Nevertheless, Mr. Fowlett slept with one. When I arrived at his home, I believed him already dead. Therefore, the news of his hasty departure came as no surprise. From the evidence obtained at his home and the statements of his neighbour, I learned the following. On the evening of his death, Mr. Fowlett was visited by a man who desired to sell him some exotic trifle. While this man distracted Mr. Fowlett, a second man quietly crept into the house and tried to open his safe. This individual was well acquainted with the house and the location of the safe, but when he failed to open it, he most likely became enraged and killed Mr. Fowlett. This individual
stupid
responsible
fucking
was
safe.
your cousin, Wyatt Collins, who returned to England under the name Johansson.
You're dead.
But what about this pillow?
Mr.
Oh,
Fowlett's
no.
pillow had vanished. Later, Dr. Watson discovered a feather from the pillow in the train compartment used by the man who impersonated
He
Fowlett.
later tickled me
But
with
why
it.
did Fowlett's impersonator take the pillow, and why didn't the station manager notice it? Mr. Fowlett was short, but very portly. In order to imitate him, the man used the pillow to create the appearance of a stouter man. There is no other explanation. This man was a much leaner man than Mr. Fowlett, Mr. Grimble, or Mr. Richards.
Then, Holmes, who did murder Sir Bromsby? And for what reason?
You'll see, Lestrade, when it's a question of multiple murders, except for the deviant ones, there are 2 primary motives, revenge and greed. Wyatt Collins' presence at Fowlett's tells us his motive was about Bromsby's wealth. He went there for the express purpose of stealing the will so that he would receive at least a portion of Bromsby's estate. If his uncle had died with no will found,
Who?
Collins would have been entitled to a share of the inheritance under English law.
But if my cousin failed in his attempt and the evidence clears my name, though I am to inherit, why were my father and cousin murdered? Besides, tomorrow I am to announce my engagement and will be married soon.
I don't
Holmes,
think
hold
you'd
on.
want to do
There's a flaw
that.
in your reasoning. There is only one key for the door to the cement factory, and Grimble is the only person known to have it. So he must be directly involved in the murder of Johansson. I mean Collins.
Is that true, Lestrade? Mr. Richards told me that there was indeed a second key which was lost. And have you forgotten the murder of the barman hunter? A young man without any criminal record, whose sole interests were painting and flowers. Why was he murdered in cold blood?
Wait.
With no signs of forceful entry or theft at his
Oh,
lodging?
that's whose room it was.
Simply put,
Yeah.
he was killed because he was present when your father was murdered. But why Hunter? What did he see?
Everybody
or
else
hear?
was in the room when
And
the
above all, how did he acquire the
guy
earring
was
of Miss
murdered.
Veronica Davenport, the leading actress of the Fairfax Theatre and Dwight Richards' mistress?
I can stand this no more. My thoughts are dazed. Will you finally reveal who murdered my father?
The murderer? Here he comes now. I understand your feelings of incredulity, but I have never been more serious. You must know that the first person who enters this room is the murderer of your father, Miss Bromsby, and I will provide irrefutable proof of their guilt.
Oh, hello, it's me, Winnie the Pooh.
No, it's not Winnie the Pooh.
Well, good
Creepo.
afternoon, gentlemen. You made the right choice to leave London. It is unbearably foggy. But Lavinia, darling, what's going on?
Oh,
what's going
on?
Yeah, what is
How?
that other dude?
I mean, what? What does she know? I don't understand. Whatever do you mean?
Oh no, you understand me clearly, Mr. Harrington, and you also, Spencer. Or should I say, Mr. Jeffries?
Explain yourself,
Oh.
Mr. Holmes. What a monstrous misunderstanding.
Oh, I've just explained myself to Miss
That's
Bromsby about
unfortunate
the truth of her
for
father's
Lavinia.
murder, but I can
Yeah.
tell the story again
Yeah,
from the
she's
Oh
very
my god!
beginning.
I just
It
noticed
begins
what you
several
meant.
years ago. Wyatt Collins, the
Oh
nephew of
no,
Mr. Bromsby, is
Lavinia.
forced by his uncle to leave England for South America. His hatred is fostered by the ingratitude he
This
perceives in Sir Bromsby.
policeman Lestrade
Wasn't
is
his
just.
uncle's career financed by his mother's
He's like,
money?
yeah, well, we
In
know.
Collins' mind, Melvin
Yeah, I
Bromsby
solved
owes
it
him
all
an
by
eternal
myself.
debt of gratitude, and was thus obliged to finance Collins' indolent lifestyle, fulfilling his every need. Here's our first criminal, Wyatt Collins. Then we have you, Mr. Harrington. You were a brilliant student at the military academy, and are an excellent shot, are you not? You were the only person at the reception with sufficient skills to make the shot that took Sir Bromsby's life. During my investigation, I learned that ex-officers of Her Majesty's Army enjoy great favor around the world for administrative positions. You left India and made your way to Brazil, where you obtained the position as warden of the prison in Guaquiamo. Do not try to deny your presence there.
Guaquiamo.
The pictures in your hunting portfolio could have been taken nowhere else in the world except Guaquiamo. We now have our second criminal.
Oh, it wasn't
Lieutenant Harrington.
guacamole?
Mr. Jeffries, your arrival in Guaquiamo set things in motion. The theatre company had come to
Guaquiamo.
Brazil as part of their worldwide tour. You had been involved with the lovely Veronica Davenport and loved her with a passionate yet possessive love. However, Miss Davenport did not share your affections. She had in fact tried
Just
several times
stunned.
to end your affair prior to the company's arrival in Guaquiamo. It seems she was truly devoted to Dwight Richards and would never leave him. After you arrived, you frequented the town's bawdier spots.
Lavinia,
This is where you first
can get off
met
your
Mr.
knees.
Harrington, and you quickly
Sit on
became
the
close
chair.
companions. It seems tedium and heartbreak do bring certain people together. After the performance, maddened by alcohol and grief,
Whoa.
you killed Miss Davenport because she had rejected
What
your love.
happened to his
You
cane?
then
It's
fled
like
to your
disappearing
newfound
into
friend,
the
the
door.
warden, to confess your crime and beg for his help. In a show of
Oh,
friendship,
there-
he
wait,
helped
okay.
It's not a
dispose
cane.
of her
It's
corpse
a sword.
and directed suspicions
Whatever.
towards your rival, Dwight Richards.
She seems like she's getting lower.
Afterwards, you lay low, leaving
She's
the others to
sinking.
believe that you had been killed or had gone missing. You stayed hidden
Kilgore.
until they had departed, and you must have kept Miss Davenport's earring as some morbid souvenir. No doubt you also retained not only the key to the Fairfax Theatre, but the
I mean-
keys from Aston, where you had been employed several years earlier.
Yeah,
Here,
when does
then,
he breathe?
is our third felon, Mr. Jeffries.
Um,
Life was difficult in Brazil for our trio. Mr. Jeffries rarely went out, Mr. Harrington's men were talking behind his back, and Mr. Collins' funds were inadequate.
Phil Collins.
One evening, Collins spoke of his cousin, who, in a few months' time, was to return to
Susudio.
England from finishing school. She was also the sole heir to one of the greatest fortunes in England. Imagine these three men besotted with alcohol, considering the wealth that would one day pass to this slip of a girl. A terrible plan was devised. Several days later, they left for England.
I mean, really
false papers
shitty.
for two of their party in hand, resolved to seize a portion, if not all, of this great inheritance.
Incredible.
Yes, incredible. And horribly true. At first, their plan was to forge a duplicate will or destroy the original, so that Mr. Collins would receive a share of the estate. This would happen soon enough, as they would murder Sir Bromsby at his daughter's birthday reception. It was essential that Collins enter the country under false papers, so that neither his uncle nor the authorities would be alerted to his presence in England. This would avoid any suspicion attaching him for his uncle's death when he arrived to claim his inheritance. They quickly put their plans into effect. Mr. Jeffries arrived at the household in the guise of a stylish French head waiter. And
Boy, they're
studied
taking
the
this pretty
lay of the
well.
manor. Mr.
Yeah, they're
Harrington,
just kinda
the
like,
assassin,
okay.
would accompany a person with
I
rather
guess you
poor
got
eyesight
us.
to the reception.
Look at those
so
fish
that
lips.
The illusion of the fake Mr. Harrington would go unchallenged. As the head waiter, Jeffries was in a unique position to study the guest list. He quickly learned that two of the guests, Miss Rowntree and Colonel Patterson, had both poor eyesight and were unaccompanied. Lieutenant Harrington was quite busy in the days before the reception. He courted Miss Rowntree with great dedication and made fast friends with the Colonel. He hoped to secure 1, if not 2, invitations to the reception. Your arrival as the Colonel's guest was your first error, Harrington. Is it credible that a young officer who left the army because of his hatred towards all military authority would easily befriend a man who embodies everything that he detests? But your efforts bore fruit, and you obtained your invitation. Mr. Jeffries, as head
Who was
waiter,
that?
took great care that the tables and tablecloths
I clicked
were
the thing.
arranged specifically
What
to
thing?
accommodate their schemes.
Hold on. He's
Mr.
explaining.
Jeffries then secured the disguise for his
okay.
role as the false Lieutenant Harrington. He remembered that an officer's uniform, similar to Lieutenant Harrington's, and a red wig, identical
Lieutenant?
to the colouring of the lieutenant's hair, were in storage at
Or
the
lieutenant.
Fairfax
Yeah.
Theatre.
It's
He
Lieutenant.
learned that the
Okay.
company had taken up residence at the site of the old Aston Theatre, for which
Yeah,
I wish
that-
his face would do something.
it was therefore
Yeah.
a simple matter for him to acquire these items for his masquerade.
East.
They now only lacked the will, which Mr. Collins presumed was kept at Flowlet's house. Their plan was to take these papers
Why
prior
don't
to
we
the
hold
murder of
hands
Sir
anymore,
Bromsby,
Holmes?
so that
Shut up.
Flowlet would be unaware of either their presence or a substitution until it was too late. But things went badly. Mr. Jeffries tried
God,
to
this is
divert
just a
Mr.
roasting
Flowlet,
here.
but he must
Yeah,
have been alerted by
he's
some noise,
really
as
digging
Collins
in.
struggled vainly
He
to open the
is,
safe. Upon
like,
being discovered,
man.
Collins
This-
killed Fowler.
I feel like this conversation should be happening with Watson.
Then left the house
And he
in
just
such
brings
a
over
way
to
that witnesses
Lavinia
believed
here,
it was
like,
Fowler
hey, yo,
himself
your
who
boy.
Oh,
did it.
she's actually on the chair this
They would
time.
Yeah,
now
because
have
it's
to
a
find another
rendered
way to
cutscene.
get hold of the money,
The other one was
because no
too.
doubt
No, it
Sir
wasn't.
Bromsby had disinherited
It was in-game.
Collins in favor of his daughter.
Oh.
They decided to take the money from his daughter, a young, naive, and vulnerable young woman.
She's kind of got the
On the day
fishhook
of
thing going
reception,
on, too.
Yeah,
Mr.
she does
Harrington
too.
arrived with Jeffries, disguised as his servant Spencer and the Colonel. With the promise of whiskey, Jeffries
Oh, we
easily
did see
secured
him at
the
the beginning.
unwitting aid of 2 fellow
Oh,
servants
fuck, we
and
did.
assumed a position at the service door.
Well,
He
that's how
wagered
we
that he
met
could
a guy
poach
named
2 or 3
Spencer.
good
So,
bottles of
but
liquor from
yeah,
the
that's
kitchen
where he was.
if his companions would cover for him. I have just explained what happened next. After the shooting, he
Ow,
took
my
2
finger.
bottles of excellent whiskey.
Yeah, what is
Someone
he doing?
knowledgeable would have taken these
Sir,
bottles
that's
over
not
the
how
others.
you cut
Mr.
that.
Jeffries had been formerly employed at a luxurious hotel in France. Upon his return, he gave an accounting to his fellow servants, did his hair,
right, but
and left the
we gotta
manor.
stand here and listen to
The
it.
promised delivery of the liquor and his frightened look secured the 2 men's cooperation in providing his alibi. They could not have known his true role in these events. The one problem for the conspirators was the barman, Simon Hunter. He had perfect
bomb?
eyesight, unlike the Colonel,
In Simon
and realized that the man who claimed to be near the bar at the time of the murder had in fact lied. He hinted as much to Mr. Harrington, and most
Oh,
certainly
God,
So
there he goes again.
disappointed at it.
as they were short on funds,
He's so
the
disappointed
accomplices
in the
gave him
bartender. It's
misguided
like,
Yeah.
no, how could he?
pledged to return with the money he demanded. That night, when Lieutenant Harrington visited us in London, he had just come from Simon Hunter's. Hunter had told Harrington that the earring had been pawned, and he would not reveal the name of the shop unless Harrington paid him his money. Mr. Harrington ruthlessly killed Hunter, and the earring so precious to Mr.
Didn't we
Jeffries
see
was lost.
this?
Earlier that morning, Jeffries lured Collins to the cement factory
Oh,
on
no.
the pretext of fabricating false evidence against Grimble.
Not this.
But they no longer needed Collins to acquire the Bromsby fortune. Mr. Harrington would wed the young heiress, then, after a reasonable time, they would cause her untimely death, and they would take it all. So Mr. Jeffries murdered Collins and made sure his body was barely recognizable.
Oh, I gotta get a
Identified
breath
it
of
must
that.
affect their
Oh,
plans,
baby.
as they believed leaving the corpse at the cement factory would direct suspicion towards Grimble. When Mr. Harrington came to see us, he learned we were hot on Collins' trail and had traced his movements up to the factory. He assumed we would go there within the hour and left to quickly round up his associates and devise a plan. Jeffries, from his days at the Fairfax Theatre, knew
There you
a
go.
legion of questionable
Oh,
talents
there.
who had
He's
no
got
Some
almost
emotion.
a
disguise for this
unibrow.
case and
Yeah.
could attack us without drawing suspicion their way. We avoided this attack, and from that moment,
Get him!
I was convinced of Lieutenant Harrington's involvement in the conspiracy. The last elements of proof were revealed at the vagrants' camp near the monastery outside of London. Mr. Jeffries had tramped through England in his past, and might have
Oh,
thought
God, that
to hide
fucking water
close in
part
the forest
sucked.
near the Richmond's Abbey.
Yeah, it did.
The very day that I was there, he tried to destroy all evidence of Collins' murder. Fortunately,
But at least
he
we're,
did
like,
not manage
this
to
far.
destroy everything. It seems Collins, foreseeing his possible death, left a small surprise for his accomplices. It would be easily missed, except by someone who observes all and misses nothing.
But this is merely some draft to lull us to sleep, Mr. Holmes.
Thank
Lavinia,
you.
surely you can't believe these mad accusations. They arise from nothing. What proof do you offer for what you say? None.
Believe what you will, Mr. Harrington. I will warn you that Mr. Collins left a letter written in his own hand, which named yourself and Mr. Jeffries and accused you both of complicity in the murder of his uncle. At this very moment, Inspector Lestrade's men are conducting a search of your rooms.
Bowser's so
They will
shocked
find the
he dropped
evidence
his
that, when
toy.
added to the accusations within this letter, will prove your guilt beyond all
Just turn
doubt.
around, you're just smiling at me with.
Chiripaqua's
Aw.
cigarettes, your portfolio, as well as a feather from the pillow which was taken from Horace Fowlett's. These items prove my deductions. I suggest we wait here for their arrival with these proofs, and I assure you our wait will be brief.
Bravo, Mr. Holmes. Well done.
There you
Accept
go.
my apologies, my dear Lavinia. I think under the circumstances it would be best if we postponed our engagement. I'm sorry for your father, but what do you expect? We had to give it our best shot.
Where is the earring now? You will tell me, where is it? Unless you tell me at once where the earring is, no one will leave this room alive.
You've got a cop
Don't
in
you
there with
understand?
you.
You are all going to die.
It's up my ass.
They are all yours, Lestrade.
Winnie the Pooh!
I suggest you return with
He is
your
Winnie the
agents to
Pooh.
London
He
as soon
saved
as
them
possible.
all.
Thank you, Mr. Grimble, for literally applying my precepts. Watson, let us escort Miss Bromsby to her rooms. She will need her rest.
Now that we're engaged.
Holmes. Collins never named either Harrington or Jeffries in
It's
his
like,
letter.
wait, what happened?
Indeed, Watson, but they could not have known. I played my bluff, and they believed me.
And Grimble, where did he appear from?
You can now boast that one of the most influential men in England served as your driver. Since my visit to Fowlett's, I knew that Grimble had nothing to do with this crime. I asked him to assist with the investigation, and it was at my request that he took steps to acquire Bromsby Enterprises. He gained us precious time by forcing Harrington and Jeffries to wait and see if Miss Bromsby would inherit. He ran quite a risk in doing me this favour, because their plots then turned against him. I also asked him to send the letter which lured the two murderers away from the hall. I needed a moment to explain everything to Miss Lavinia. It would be dreadful if she fell into the hands of her father's killer. From the beginning, Grimble was concerned only with saving her inheritance. He never once doubted her innocence.
Nevertheless, didn't he misappropriate those funds?
Indeed, but not for his own profit. It was solely to protect his friend Bromsby. An ex-architect with whom he had quarrelled, a Mr. Waters, had contacted Sir Bromsby before this intrigue began. Waters learned from Captain Bowie that Sir Bromsby had encouraged certain actions against workers hired to build a bridge in India. That project was the bridge over the Kalidasa Abyss. Waters blackmailed Bromsby from afar. Grimble received the letters and considered them to be quite serious. He knew his hot-tempered friend well and preferred to conceal the blackmail attempt for fear of disastrous consequences. So Grimble made regular payments to Waters in exchange for his silence. Unfortunately, Collins discovered the arrangement while he was working at the cement factory and threatened to reveal everything. Grimble could not afford for that to happen. He managed to rid himself of Collins
So
by
Grimble took the
sending
gamble,
Fowlett.
and
Then it
the
was
gamble
Bromsby's turn to discover the blackmail
paid
by sheer
Grimble?
accident. He was
Grimble-
angered, but before he could decide his next
Grimble,
move, Mr. Waters died suddenly and removed all threat. When Grimble learned that Waters had died, he
They
That's
should
not-
have done
to
like
Bromsby.
the spinning
He noted
newspaper.
that
Oh my
the
god,
money
it's coming again.
were-
Yeah, exactly.
and that the same amount could now be applied in other ways. India had enriched them so greatly, and Bromsby had been cursed over the harm done to the Indian people in his employment.
Shit, Sherlock, alright, I
It
get
was
it, I
decided
get it,
that
I
these
get
same
it.
funds would now be sent on a monthly basis
Well, I
to
mean, this
Bombay
is the
Orphanage
1800s. I
in
mean,
the
what
care
the
of a
hell else
sergeant
did
Yeah,
they
what
do
else do
in-
they have to do? They just
It is
explain
possible
They
everything.
just talk to each
intended
other and-
increase his patronage, and this was the important news he intended to reveal to the press at his daughter's reception. It
Watson.
was
So,
she who
to be
had
fair,
approached him
Sherlock
regarding
likes
his
to
behavior
hear himself
towards
talk a
Indians
lot.
Yes,
in
he
his
does.
employ.
I mean, shit.
Do you remember the words from that poem which he had written into his notes?
A poem.
It said that the ungrateful
Yeah,
always
you didn't
die
even let him
miserably.
answer.
Indeed, Holmes.
There we go.
But there is one thing that I still don't understand. Why did you ask Lestrade to put Richards behind bars? He wasn't guilty of any crime, but you treated him as a murderer.
I advised Lestrade that it would be prudent to place Richards in custody so we could protect him from harm. Mr. Richards is a wise and intelligent man. He would have recognized Harrington and Jeffries on sight. When he realized that Jeffries was alive and that I possessed the missing earring, he would have drawn the same conclusions as I. So this investigation would have been stopped cold by one or two more murders.
I see.
Well, Watson, you seem to know everything. Tell me, please, that small missive which I can see on the desk. It contains 2 invitations to the opera's opening night, does it not? If so, we shall finally have our opportunity to hear this marvelous soprano. Well, what do you say, Watson?
I have plans, Holmes. Frog Wars.
It's the end.
All right. I mean, I guess, you know,
Oh,
he should be explaining everything at the end. Whoa! What the fuck was that?
what is that supposed to be? Oh, a pipe.
A penis.
No. Oh no, it's supposed to be the earring.
No, I think that was
Oh
a
no,
pipe.
it's a carriage.
Yeah, I think that was a pipe
It changes each
before.
thing.
Yeah.
Gun.
Gun.
What?
You don't remember that?
What's going on there? They were really proud of this scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been hard. Because doing physics with this sort of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
animation part. Oh, it's Sherlock's face. Oh, it is Dvorak. Okay.
And then this thing.
London. Oh, the Sherlock Holmes Society of London. Oh God, why did he bring this back?
I don't know.
Stop.
I guess
It
I'm
was
out of bullets.
We were happy enough to see it once and never again.
It was weird. What a
It
weird.
is weird. It
that-
just came out of nowhere. And I understand they.
What?
Whoa.
And it crashed.
Oh, the game crashed.
Oh boy.
The great
What?
ending.
What the? Okay.
So it didn't save the end.
That's okay.
That's alright.
Thoughts on the game?
It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time poking fun at it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Sherlock Holmes thing, and you know,
Very, very word heavy, like lots of dialogue, but
yeah.
not as many puzzles as I would have liked. I didn't like the
Yeah.
quizzes.
I mean, the quizzes were just kind of like, hey, were you paying attention at all?
I kind of wish it would tell you instantly if one of them were right or wrong. So if you really
Yeah,
wanted to brute force
that
it,
might
you
have been
could, but if you wanted to take it seriously, you could also. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's a
yeah, it was fine. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
first one done.
Yep. What's next? Which one's next?
Shit.
Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
I can't spell. Frogwares, Sherlock Holmes games. Well, that's the most recent. Oh, this. We just did Silver Ear. Here it is, 2004. Next one would be I was like, that's not. It's either Arsene Lupin or the Awakened. Hold on.
I am the Black Knight.
Sherlock Holmes and the Black Knight.
Do we have the Awakened?
I will check.
Oh, this is the Cthulhu one.
Oh, cool.
I wish they had barcades out here, though.
They got a couple downtown.
Yeah.
There's headquarters, which is cool. And then there's something like Ready Player 2. You can do it. No, Sherlock Holmes was definitely Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I feel like Mom would have enjoyed that game.
Yeah. I like point-and-click games, though.
I think I missed the boat on them when I was of age.
Well, you remember we know what game we should get? We'd have to go to Good Old Games or whatever. But Hand of Fate.
I have it.
Legend
I have that trilogy.
Of Christiana?
I have that trilogy.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I bought it.
Oh, we should.
Thinking you would want to play it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that next, or do you want to do another Sherlock?
I would rather.
Oh.
We could do another Sherlock, unless you want to go to something else.
Up to you. The point and click stuff's more your bag, but I don't mind being the vessel for it. So.
Well, let's see if it's the Awakened one, if we have
Okay.
that one. If not, though the Arsene Lupin is really cool because he was a thief, a gentleman thief.
Sherlock was?
No, Arsene Lupin.
Oh.
That's where Lupin the Third is based off of.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
The Awakened.
Oh, we do have it.
Mm-hmm. The Awakened?
Yeah, because I think the next it's either the Awakened's next, and then Arsene Lupin.
Don't have that.
Aww.
It's the Awakened.
Mystery of the Persian Carpet.
Yep, got that.
one we do. Then Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Mystery of Osborne House. I don't think we have that one.
The Testament.
Yeah, the Testament's next.
And then Nemesis.
I think that one's. See, I don't see that listed on here unless they renamed it as something else. Unless it was made by a different company.
Maybe.
Hold on, let me click on the Arsene Lupin.
No. Well, we'll figure this out.
Yeah,
goodbye, folks.
well, the next one is The Awakened anyway. Oh, yes,
All right.
bye.
Goodbye. Thanks for
Yeah,
watching. Anyways. It's simplicity in itself. Actually, Katie, it looks like this case is closed.